let's go and talk about Manchester United a little bit because they are in. I mean, it is not.
Where are they in the standings? 15th.
15th. Yes.
Yeah.
It is not a slump. It is not. It is a tragic downfall.
Right. I believe Eric Ten Hag left the team 5 points out of the top 4.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, and they are much worse right now.
it felt like, oh, they brought in Amorim. It can't get worse.
No.
And that's exactly what's happened. It's exactly that.
But do you feel, and I would love to hear what Manchester United fans think. In a way, don't you think we're in the clearing out portion? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This feels like the cleanse that's needed, to get the evils. They need to sage the room a little bit,
Totally.
Like this is the pain. This is the rock bottom you need to hit before you get better. It still feels to me, and again, I'm not a Manchester United fan, but it still feels to me like Amorim is the guy to lead them forward with 1-2 transfer windows under his belt. He can start to make the changes needed to put on a better team. The one thing you may be able to hold against him is that he's kind of Ange Postecogluing a little bit in the sense that he's like, this is the way we play, and we are not changing it. And they're like, yo, you ain't got the pieces for that. He's like, I don't hear you. Okay? All I hear is go on, King.
And we were praising this, even on this show. We were like, oh, I love the transparency, the honesty. And now that they just keep losing, they've lost 12. They've already lost 12 matches in the Premier League this season. It's looking more ridiculous, his commentary. And I give him credit at the very.
Does it look more ridiculous or is it just looking tone deaf? Because ridiculous to me is like what Ange Postecoglou is doing, which is like, it is what it is, man. I don't care if I'm failing.
I mean, it's hard to say. It all looks. I think the comedy of it is we see Anthony at Real Betis, and he's scored 3 goals in 4 games. He's just scored an absolute banger of a volley the other day, and it's just another example of like, oh, it's not. It doesn't seem like it's the players. But Amorim has been honest about this, about like the players that he has and what he demands of them. Rashford just on a free kick hit the crossbar, and Ali Watkins ends up scoring or whatever. But it doesn't seem like that. Well, I guess what I'm saying is
Anthony's balling. It seems to me like it's a United problem.
Right. It's like a structural and an institutional thing, and Henry Bushnell of Yahoo Sports wrote a great article about it that you should all check out. But that is the it just seems like the problem. And again, we've said this before. It's just like from the owners to the directors to the general managers to everybody making those decisions, you sort of think like, oh, that's so kind of high up that it's not really going to affect who Casemiro's passing the ball to or whatever. You don't think it's that granular
from the head, bro.
Yeah, and that's what it kind of feels like. But Amorim is closer to the head than he is to the pitch. You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna read. This is Opta Joe's stat. This isn't mine. Manchester United have lost 8 of their last 12 Premier League games. Okay, So they won 3, drew 1 of the other 4. Since the date of the first game in this spell, which is the December 4th match against Arsenal, the only sides to lose more matches in the Premier League are Leicester and Southampton. Do you know what positions they hold?
They're in relegation.
They're bottom 2. The bottom 2. Yeah. So they are in relegation form.
Yeah, totally.
They are bottom 3 form since December 12th. This is not. It's not something we can say has no reflection on Ruben Amorim. It just still doesn't feel like it's Ruben Amorim's fault. Right.
I think that's where
it's like you're not making the hurt, but you ain't helping.
Right. The whispers of like, is this Amorim's fault? Like are starting. They're getting a little louder because he can only be so. And we can also say like what David Moyes has done with Everton of like. Even I was saying David Moyes he's not going to really change anything. I didn't think he would be the right manager.
He's changed everything.
And he's changed absolutely everything. And Manchester United's next game is against Everton. So I'm sure they're probably a little bit nervous, even though the last game against Everton, Manchester United won 4-0. But this is Henry in the article also mentioned that one of the big factors as well is the influx of money that has come into the Premier League, where now those mid-table teams, or quote unquote middle or bottom table teams, have are kind of outspending some of the Champions League.
They've got Champions League winning money now because of the TV deal.
Exactly. So it has leveled the playing field to such a degree that Manchester United, a team that has been mismanaged, is now have fallen, even though they have tons of revenue, jersey sales, tickets, and everything, and TV money, but they are so mismanaged that now they are essentially, like you said, a team that is fighting relegation. The team is run just like a Southampton, just like a Leicester City, and that's why they're essentially in these situations.
The important thing to note is having all of this revenue, but having an overwhelming amount of mismanagement puts you at the level. It takes down the amount of revenue you have and the amount of ability you have to outspend and even outsmart. If you're not doing the outsmarting part, it brings you down to a level where you're now competing with the bottom half of the table. You're not competing with the top half. And again, we've said this on the show, and before Manchester United get all these comments and go crazy with these fans, we believe, or at least I believe, I don't want to speak for you, but I think we both have agreed, Manchester United, the sport is better when Manchester United is one of the biggest clubs in the world. Is competing at the highest level. That is what is...
Now their fans just seem like delusional psychopaths.
They also seem so sad.
There is a lot of sad. I mean, I
heartbroken.
I blame Good Vibes John, because he is his content is like sad United fan. You know what I mean?
Bro, it is sad boy porn.
Walking on the beach to sad music. I mean, it's obviously very intentional.
Darkness,
I laugh.
my old friend.
I'm enjoying it.
He's so positive. It's so hard for him to keep going.
Yeah. It's Manchester United has made him sad vibes, John, and that's just, you hate to see it.
You don't want to see it.